Perfect. We're on the automatic brightness. Awesome. All right, guys, we are live. What is going on? Let's get the chat open. Restream. All right, let's give everyone a few minutes to come in here. Make sure the stream is good. All right. Sibo, what's going on, man? Good to see you in here. Got a little bit of a different setup going today, so I'll give everyone a couple minutes to get in. Okay, audio sounds good. All right. Also added some music on today, so we'll see how that sounds. I didn't want to like be too loud on it, but let's see. What's going on, man? Just you in here. Got a little bit of a different setup going today. All right, I think the music quality is pretty good. All right, cool. Guys, we're going over a little bit of a Q&A today style post. If you're from the school, you can click on the link. You can directly get in here. So everything should be set up and ready to go. I got the coffee going. I've got my Q&A style. So really today, we're pretty much just going through everything that's new about LinkedIn right now. Like the full algorithm has changed. The way content's being published has changed. The way the algorithm is pushing out content has changed. There's a lot to go over today in terms of what's working, what's not working, the algorithm, everything. So that's kind of going to be the strat for today, is just go over mainly what's going on in LinkedIn right now. I've had a lot of questions lately about just how to create content without using AI, you know, how to have like tons of ideas all the time. So I'm going to break that down in today's live as well. So while we're doing this, you can ask any questions you have. We can go over anything you'd like to ask. You can drop in the chat. You can ask in the school. You can ask in the YouTube chat. Wherever you want to ask, you can do that. So let's start in about 2 minutes. Just give everyone here to like 12:05, then we'll kind of get started here. So let me open up. You get a couple things open up for us. Okay, we're gonna be using, we'll use this one as well. So we'll put that on the right side of my monitor. Cool. Let's throw this over here. All right, so we've got the content there. All right, cool. So I'll stay on this scene for a minute. Let's get more people in here, and then we'll go ahead and get started. All right, that looks good. Where's Restream at? Oh, I fully just closed Restream. There we go. All right. Chat. Okay, perfect. All right, cool. Everything looks up and good to go. I'll add this back over here. I've got a new setup today since I'm in Texas now, not Nashville, so I'm kind of having to like readjust some things. So we'll see how it all plans out, but I think it's gonna be a good live today. Lots of great stuff to do. All right, so we can go get started. We've got a decent amount of people in here, so we'll go ahead and start with some content, a couple of recent questions that people have had, and then we'll actually dive into just kind of creating content live here on the stream, and then you guys can ask any questions you have as the stream goes on. And we've got Kamala, what's going on? Good to see you in the chat as well from YouTube. Good to see you. Okay, guys, let's get started with LinkedIn content. So I will actually open up my LinkedIn here. Let's get that opened up. Okay, so I do want to kind of address some things in this week. So we'll kind of just start the stream by going over what's happened this week, what's going on with the content, organic reach. I've seen a lot of people talking about organic reach is down. It's just not performing as well as it should have been before. The way I see this is pretty simple. We're having a lot more people on LinkedIn now. We've got thousands of more new people that are now seeing that, oh wow, LinkedIn is a great place to build a personal brand. So everyone's now on LinkedIn. People are posting content. It's not good content, but everyone's posting content. Everyone's trying to do LinkedIn videos. They're trying to do these carousels, use AI to generate lots of content, schedule in advance for 30 days. So there's just so much content on the platform. but we have the same amount of eyeballs. So let's say, for example, we had, let's say 10 million people on the platform. We now have 50 million people, 20 million, let's say, that are posting content every single day. But now we have tons more content. So now the feeds are just speared with tons of different posts, tons of random content, AI generated mush that is not actually authentic. It's not valuable stuff, but there's just so much content now. So the competition is way higher now. So that's really the biggest change here is the competition. The amount of people posting content is kind of insane. What's up, Megan? Good to see you. What's up, Mohammed? Good to see you as well. And then Unchi, we've got you in here. Kamalo, what's going on? Good to have you guys here. So really just like the actual competition on the platform is much higher. So now if you're not seeing very good results from your content, it's probably because one, it's not that good. Two, you're not hitting the right audience. You probably have like the wrong connection list. You're not sending the content out to the right people, which means you need to optimize your connection list and who you're actually connecting with. But overall, it's just there's so many new eyeballs and just so much new content, and it's very hard to actually be known and shown to the right people. So we can kind of go over that today in how you're going to actually perfect that. So the question is, how can I increase visibility in LinkedIn? Yeah, it's a great question. It's kind of what we're going through right now, but I think the easiest way if you actually want to increase your visibility is number one, you're posting a lot of content, right? That's non-negotiable. But the second thing is you need to have essentially a sequence in your content. So if you look at my post, for example, let's just go through the past like 5-6 days, right? You can see all my content is the same style. I've got my cool selfies of my face. These are some reposts. I've got my videos with my face. I've got these like 3 style visuals, which is my face. I've got my face. I've got like these style, which is my face again. This is a LinkedIn newsletter / promo to my YouTube. All my branding is on point. It's always the same. You always know if you see my content, if you see this post, you're going to know it's from Alex, right? Because it's my content. I think a lot of people, what they do is they're creating like AI generated posts. They're trying to be consistent, but the posts don't really give you like that. Oh, it's, you know, XYZ. I see him all the time. I know his content. If you look at the biggest creators on the platform, they're all using a very consistent type of post, the same branding, the same color schemes, the same templates. You can tell it's their content, which is actually part of the building your personal brand style, is because if you're not building your personal brand, if you're just creating content and it has like no general guidelines, it's not following any sort of flow, you're just kind of creating like this post here, boom, it goes to like 20 people. This post over here, 15 people. If you post consistently, okay, you've got this post, this is the same flow, the same style, the same on-brand post, it'll go to 100 people. Now you're gonna do it again. Now these 100 people already know that this is what your post looks like. This is how you write, like this is your brand. So now these people are gonna see it's like, oh, I'm gonna have another 100 people plus the new people that see my post. So staying on brand and keeping your content almost the exact same every single time and talking about the same thing over and over and over again is kind of how to get as much visibility as possible. And the other thing you wanna have too is a really good profile. If you're scrolling the timeline and your content doesn't look good, if your profile photo doesn't look good, people are not going to like it. So if you're, let's say I just go to my time, like let's go to my timeline right now. If I scroll this, I'm going to see, okay, what looks good right now? Let me go to the top. Okay, cool. This, wow. All right. So I know Charlie has great content. You can tell like, oh, this looks like something that's worth stopping for. How to LinkedIn CEO or SEO, sorry. And it's got this visual that just looks very compelling, right? That's one thing. If you keep scrolling down, you'll see something like this. Okay, this looks pretty good. This looks breaking. Good hook. Okay. And next up, you've got this visual, which is like the Twitter one. There's too many of these. This isn't going to perform well. You've got something like this. This is just an ad. Okay, video. Okay. Something like this. Visual, like personal image stuff. Okay, cool. But it really matters like what you put on your timeline and if it's going to be eye-catching or not. That's a huge part about being visible on the platform. It makes a huge difference. Naveed, good to see you, man. Glad you were able to pop in here. Can you review my profile and tell me what's wrong with it? I can do profile reviews in a little bit. We can also go over what makes a good profile. Yeah, I can show that in a few. Absolutely. Can you give some tips on how I can generate such a great content consistently? Absolutely. That's kind of like my goal in today's live Q&A as well, is to kind of create some content with you guys. And I can kind of show you like how I would create a post. So if you guys want, we can actually create a post manually right now. I can show you like the breakthrough of it. But let me actually open up my Google Sheets, which I will have in my school community. If you guys are not already in there, I will show you exactly how you can create content every single day without missing a single day. Okay, so let me pull up the Elevates. Okay, I will copy this and I'm going to create a new spreadsheet to show you guys right now what this kind of looks like. Okay, so this is what I would call my authentic, organic content Google Sheet, right? Let me make these all a little bigger. Okay. I showed this a couple times, but we're going to basically build this live on stream today so you guys can actually do it for yourself as well. Okay, so we got post concept, make these a little bigger. Okay, so you can literally build this right now. Go to the Skool community if you're not already in there, join it, and then what you can do is grab this Google Sheet, copy it, and then follow along with me. Yeah, I'll do profile reviews before the end of this live. That's perfect. Okay, so what this is your Google Sheet that's going to essentially showcase what you're creating content on for the whole week, whole month, you name it. So let me just delete all this stuff. Here, I'll delete all this. We'll start fresh. Okay, so your content type. Let's say, for example, you want to start creating content, but you probably know what to do. So I'm just going to go to ChatGPT, right? We're going to go to ChatGPT. Let me open this up. Now, we're not using AI to write, right? We're not doing that. But what we will do is, let me see. Okay, so we're going to go to chat. Right. Now, we're going to ask for something very specific. We're going to ask it to help us create a content strategy. Also, Justin said in the chat, content is simple. What's the outbound start once people start liking and commenting? Yeah, I can go through outbound. Let me finish content first, and then we'll start with we'll kind of get into outbounds. But just really quick, if you guys want, what you can do is you can go to my Google Sheet, right? We've got content types, content themes, post concepts, the status of the post, whether it's drafted, we'll say this one's in draft. The post date, we're to say today. Let's say you don't have a post for today yet. We're going to write that right now. And the purpose. Okay, so we've got today's draft going. Okay, so we need a content type. What do you want to create today? Well, there's a couple things I would do. If you want to do a personal image style post, that's going to be like a selfie, for example. Infographic is like, what you see on LinkedIn, those massive photos of all the text on there. That's an infographic. We've got carousels and videos. So you kind of need to determine what you're actually creating. So what kind of type of content are you building? The theme is going to be the theme of your post. So maybe you're writing about inbound strategies. Maybe you're doing systems. Maybe you're doing outbound strategies. Maybe you're doing newsletter style posts. Whatever the theme of your post is, you're going to have that there. Post concept is essentially going to be your hook, right? So we're going to use this Google Sheet. We're also going to write a post today, literally directly from this. So we're going to write it on live stream, and I'll actually post it tomorrow so you guys can see that the content I write like this is the content I actually publish and produce on the platform. Okay, so let me open up Supergrow. So let's actually write a post right now. Make this a little bigger. If you guys are not familiar with this tool, this is called Supergrow. It's what I use for myself, my clients, just in general to write on LinkedIn. It's the easiest way to write content, right? So let me go here. You and Kaylin, welcome to the stream, man. Hope you're doing well today. Okay, let me go to... All right, so let's say, for example, tomorrow, right? I talk about LinkedIn strategy, LinkedIn systems. I talk about everything LinkedIn, growth, newsletter, YouTube, pretty much all the entire structure of my business here on LinkedIn. So we're going to talk about something that I think would be something useful for my audience. So you can basically create different categories. So let's say for your business, create like 5 to 10 categories within your main number one role. So essentially what you talk about every single day, you can break that into subcategories and talk about different things. So you can have lots of post ideas. So one thing I do like to talk about is essentially the number one skill to build a business like mine. So like, what skills do you need to build a business like my business, right? So we could basically create a post today talking about, okay, if let's say you're a random creator, you want to start a business, what type of skills should you learn to be able to then create a business like I have? So I could start by saying, let's say high income skills is what I want to talk about. Should be your number one focus on LinkedIn. Maybe something like that. Okay, and then we could say, or maybe we can even remove the on LinkedIn part. It's not really necessary because we're on LinkedIn. High income skills should be your number one focus. Here's what I'd learn before the start of 2026. And actually, we're going to say, here's what I'd master. Okay, so when you're writing content, your hook should always talk about what you do, your systems, your breakdowns, what you're doing, your business. So that's why I say, here's what I'd master. So if someone wants to be in my shoes, they want to master the skills I already mastered to build such a great business, I say, here's what I would master right now. Okay, perfect. It's almost 2026. There's like 69 days left. This is what I'd master before the start of 2026 to build a business like we have here. So that's going to be the hook here. The hook is going to be the first 2 lines. If you go to the preview, you can see under the see more, these first 2 lines, they don't go to the next line. They're only the first lines. This is what you're going to see on your LinkedIn feed, right? So you want to master these 2 hooks first. So this first one's kind of like a generic start to the hook. So high income skills should be your number one focus. If you're reading the post, you're probably like, okay, what is a high income skill? Boom, I've got you. Here's what I'd mastered before the start of 2026. Okay, that's a really good start. Now, before I go into the system, you're probably asking, okay, why should I trust this person? Let's say for your content, they're going to see your content. They're going to be, okay, I've never seen this guy. Why should I trust him? So you need to add a little bit of backstory. Why should people trust you? What have you done? How many clients have you helped? How often, like how long have you been on LinkedIn? So you can do something like that. So you can say, let's say I've been on LinkedIn for a little over 2 years now. So I gotta say something like, I've spent the last 2.5 years on LinkedIn perfecting. Let's say we can say I spent the last 2.5 years on LinkedIn becoming the top authority for personal brands and business owners. Let's say that want to grow. All right, this is very drafty right now, so we're gonna obviously perfect this, but I spent the last 2.5 years on LinkedIn becoming the top authority for personal brands and business owners, growing their revenue. I don't know, it doesn't sound that good yet, but we'll fix that. Okay, and then also Jason, welcome to the stream. Hope you're doing well. Okay, so I spent the last 2.5 years on LinkedIn. Maybe we could say learning these skills to become the top authority on the platform. Okay, I like that better. Here are the top 10 skills you need to learn. All right, so basically what we have here is we have the hook here, which I just described. We went over that. Okay, that's important. So pick a subcategory. Let's say you're talking about website design. You build websites. Okay, now take that web development, web design category, break that down into some subcategories. So you have 10 subcategories top web design, whether it's SEO, design, visuals, tools that you can build websites. Break it down to 10 categories and then use those 10 categories to just constantly talk about the same thing over and over again. So then maybe this post, for example, could be talking about the top 10 tools you use to build websites. Maybe tomorrow's post could be about visual designs. So like, how do you design visually websites, right? So take that main category, break it down to subcategories, turn that into your content now. So my subcategory here is the high income skills that I'm learning and using and mastering to then build my profitable business, right? So the next part is, okay, the credibility. Why should you trust me? Okay, well, I've spent the last 2.5 years on LinkedIn learning these skills to become the top authority on the platform. Here are the 10 skills you need to master. Okay, so let's go into the 10 skills. I'm gonna break a little numbered list here to make the formatting look good, easy to read. I don't know if 10 skills, that might be too many, but we'll see. All right, 10 skills. We're gonna basically break down the 10 skills right here. And then I kind of want to, after that, go into the next part, which could be something like, these are all gonna be very simple skills. So Photoshop, learning how to sell, learning how to write, learning how to script YouTube videos, things like that. So we could say, the skills I've mastered aren't anything crazy. They're just, let's say, I'm going to say they're top skills that lead to generating long-term revenue. Maybe something like that. Nothing crazy. I can also say something like, maybe you don't need fancy skills. You need skills that get results. All right, we do something like that. You don't need fancy skills. You need skills that get results. Okay, I like that. All right, we're gonna play some new music as well. Okay, so that is really good. So essentially the way the post goes is the hook. We've got the credibility, so like why they should trust you. Then we've got the system in the middle of the post. And then we're gonna actually add on to more of these systems. You can say like, you don't need fancy skills, you just need this. So you don't need that, you need this. I'm gonna use that for this post. And I can say something like, we can actually compare LinkedIn to other social media platforms. Joshua, what's good, man? Good to see you back here. And again, we also have Karen, good to see you from YouTube chat. Good to see you, good to see you. If you guys are coming from the school community too, make sure to join the LinkedIn Live on LinkedIn itself, because you can actually add to the chat there. If you're watching from school, you can't add to the chat. So hop on over to the actual LinkedIn Live and you'll be able to add stuff there. Okay, so let me go back here really quickly and we can start I could even say something like, look at Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, Reddit, and Snapchat. I don't know. Those are some pretty good examples, I'd say. And then what you can do too is what a lot of people do is when they are on LinkedIn, or even on YouTube, everyone talks about, okay, drop shipping, crypto, all these like crazy niches that make, money essentially. But in my business, we don't need to talk about any of this. We talk about skills that actually get results that you can use long term and help you in literally everything. So in your business, in your life, etc. So not these like guru style topics. So I could say everyone talks about crypto, everyone talks about drop shipping as skills, right? They talk about and all of these guru money making skills. You don't need them. Also, has anyone in the chat done any of these skills? Has any of you guys like done crypto, dropshipping? Actually pretty curious because I did do crypto and dropshipping for when I was much younger, of course, but I did actually do these things. I fell into the trap of like, okay, like try to learn these things. You've got these top YouTubers talking about it. So it's pretty easy to want to create some of these things. Also, Adam, good to see you here, man. I'm glad you made it to the live today. Feel free to ask any questions too. We're just going over how I write posts like live in action. And then you can basically take this, we can put it into ChatGPT and create like an actual system for you. Yeah, it's pretty cool. Okay, so you don't need all this garbage. I'll say they're not crazy. They're just tops because of leads generating. All right, I'll remove that. You don't need them. The skills I've learned, I've mastered, or the skills I've perfected in the last 2.5 years are simple, but they make the business grow. But they allow the brand and the business to grow significantly. I like that. Significantly. Cool. Okay, that's cool. Okay, so also what I love to do is, since it's almost 2026, I always talk about, okay, you have this many days to 2026, do this. People love it because it makes them, it's very actionable. It makes them think like, oh, I need to do this now. Like it's quick, right? So the skills I've perfected over the last 2.5 years are simple, but they have enabled the brand and the business to grow. Okay, you have 69 days, let's say 68 days. You have 68 days until 2026. Learn these skills, or you will fall behind. Oh, this is a little cringy, but at least this is like kind of how it started. Did NFTs? Yeah, Kayla, I did that too. It's actually really interesting. I think a lot of us probably went into that field as well, like that area of expertise. Yeah, it's pretty fun stuff though, honestly. I had a lot of fun doing that. Okay. All right, let's go on to the next. Move that. Okay, so this is kind of like how the posts look. And if you look at the preview, I typically like to keep lines under 2 lines. Like this is 3 lines right now. I'd kind of want to take this to 2, but we've got the hook, we've got the credibility, we'd have the hide gem skills here. We've got, nothing fancy skills. Like Instagram, I use like other platforms as an example. So I like to take examples from other people, other creators, other platforms, just to kind of add some credibility into the post. And then I mentioned credibility again. I mention quickness, like you need to do this right now. So this is one of those posts I just like to talk about, like my skills and like that. This post looks really well. So that's kind of just how I'd write. Like you just kind of write from the head. You don't really, that took what, 7-8 minutes to write this. So you just need the idea. You have the one main subcategory. If you learn anything from this live right now, know that you have the one big category. So let's say, for example, personal brand growth on LinkedIn. That's the huge category. Now you're going to break that down into the segments. So smaller categories. So you have grow on LinkedIn as a personal brand, and then you have segments of that. So below that, you're going to have subcategories. We could talk about, let's say, LinkedIn connections, how to do outbound strategies. Then we have one which is LinkedIn content. Then we have one which is making, let's say, selling products and building your business on LinkedIn. Then we have another one over here, which is the best tools I use to grow my business on LinkedIn. Then we have how to build a community on LinkedIn. That's another subcategory. So you have main topic, then you've got 10 subcategories, maybe more, and you create your content based on these subcategories, but ultimately driving people back to the main idea, which is growing your personal brand on LinkedIn. That's how your content should be. Maybe you're doing SEO, web development, maybe you're doing nutrition, whatever it is, that's your main topic. Break it down into 10 plus categories, create your content on the subcategories, and end up leading those content ideas and the purpose of these posts back to that main idea. And that's how you're going to create content consistently over a long period of time. If you need more of those subcategories, you can just go to ChatGPT and ask. But for me, I've been on LinkedIn for so long, I can name 50, probably 100 topics I could create content on right now just because I've written about it so often. So that's what I would do. If you want to create content as much as possible, have it every single day, whether it's 5 times, 7 times a week, whatever it is, use the main category, break it down to subcategories, create content in the subcategories. That's going to be my content strategy format. I would say you guys can definitely follow. I think it's going to be the easiest way to essentially create lots of content, stay visible on the platform, and actually become credible for your niche, right? That's going to be very important. Okay, hope that helped for those of you asking about content. I did want to answer that one question from Justin. He said, content is pretty simple for him. That's great. What's the outbound strat once people start liking and commenting? What I would do is first, when you post, let's say at 7 a.m., whatever time you post at, you should be engaging with all your comments. So don't just say, oh yeah, I agree, or something like, yeah, that's a cool comment. What I would do, let me just go to one of my posts and I'll just literally show you what I would do for outbound. If you guys are creating content, do this exact strategy, right? So go to your post. Let's go to today's post. I think I have some comments I haven't talked about yet or reply to. Let's see. Okay, so I have comments here. So what you're going to do is you don't want to just say, okay, this person said this post itself is a perfect example of value plus offer combo done right. Okay, I'm not just going to say like, yeah, I agree, right? That's boring. It's not going to add any sort of value to her comments. What I'm going to say instead is, and you can do this 10 minutes after you post, 30 minutes after, whatever it is, you're going to do this. So you're going to say, okay, this post itself is a perfect example of a value plus offer combo. I'm going to say, oh yeah, for sure. I'm going to write in my voice. I'm going to say something like, do you have your own value plus offer system? Or just going to use something like I provided? Okay, so I'm going to ask a question. It's not going to be perfect, but I'm going to ask a question back to her comment. That way she's going to see the comment. She's going to go back to my post and make another comment, which means her one comment here added my comment, and then her comment again, and then mine again, and it might actually create some sort of conversation. The more comments you have, the more conversations you have within your post, means your post is going to keep getting thrown onto the timeline because, oh, it's a very valuable post. LinkedIn sees it as a conversation starter, which means your post is going to keep getting seen by more people. So if you're doing comments on your post, don't just reply, ask questions, ask if they have like their own system, ask something about your post that's relevant to their comment. But don't just say, oh yeah, nice post, or yeah, I agree with this, things like that. You need to have an actual post that, like an actual comment on there that is going to make sense. I'm going to reset my camera here too. It's going to turn off in a second. But yeah, make sure you add more conversations to it because you don't just want it to be boring like that, right? Okay, so can you share some tools like Supergrow, which you can use for LinkedIn? I can definitely do that. And then, yeah, so I would say for tools, I hope this helped. If you have any other questions on the outbound system, let me know. Happy to help and share with those. For outbound and for LinkedIn in general, I would say the top are going to be Supergrow. Supergrow is great. I use this if you have an agency. It's really good. Taplio is really good if you want to use analytics, if you want to schedule your content, get inspiration, use their AI. Taplio is really good. Another one is Magic Post. They have a really good AI generator for posts if you want to use it. Now, I don't use AI for my posts, but you can definitely use it for inspo. But I think Supergrow, Taplio, and Magic Post probably the best for LinkedIn, for scheduling content, for writing content, for getting inspiration, for finding like viral ideas. These three tools alone are going to be like your best friends. So I would say use those three, and especially at the start. It's going to be really helpful for you. Okay, hope that helped, man. If you have any other questions, too, let me know. But yeah, that's going to be it for the tools, the outbound, and then let me see if there's any other questions from school today. I know we had a couple questions on the chat here. Someone said their biggest problem. Yes. The biggest problem, how to build posts based on service-based businesses. For example, if someone builds websites. Yeah, so I was saying this before, Ellen, you can literally use the exact framework that I just had. So if you're creating content for, let's say, someone building business websites, you can literally break down, okay, you have your website builder. Okay, so you obviously make designs, so visually designs. You add SEO to it. You probably use AI, some sort of chat or Claude framework to write the copy for the website, like the actual copy, like the headers and the subheaders. That's another subcategory. So take all the subcategories you use to build websites, throw it into your content, and also like testimonials, people you built website for. That's an easy post to create, right? So just take all the subcategories and boom, that's literally content. You don't have to overthink content. Content should literally be about like you building your business, the behind the scenes, what's working, what's not working. You're just sharing your story, you're sharing your business. And that's kind of like the content. You don't always have to have, oh, this is my 5-step framework, this is my system, this is this. Like, it doesn't always have to be like this crazy amount of value. Just break down your behind the scenes, like show people what you're building. If you're building a new product, show people. If you're launching a new community, show people. If you have a new testimonial, just show people. Like, content is not something to overcomplicate. You should have a purpose for every piece of content you post, but you shouldn't overcomplicate it. It's not that challenging once you have an actual framework for it. Okay, how I started posting this week. Some posts did okay considering my first week. Some tanked though. Any ideas how to come up with decent hooks? Yeah, so for hooks, honestly, what I would do is use I. So show people that it's your system. So you could say something like, let me just go, I think today's post. Yeah, so today I said like we've or I've. So you're basically telling people, okay, you've done this. So use words like I have, or here's how I, or here's how we did this, to showcase people, okay, this is Alex's system, or this is Adam's system. He did this. He's credible in his industry. I want to follow him and see what he's doing. So you can utilize the credibility of I and how. Use those, or like how we've done this. I like to also use numbers. Numbers are very eye-catching in the timeline. So I said, like in today's post, we've helped founders 2 to 3x their monthly revenue. So we're saying, okay, we've done this number with this transformation. You could say something like, I got 10 new clients using my framework. Here it is, right? So use the transformation, use the numbers, use the credibility of here's how I did it, or here's how we did it. That's 3 really important things. And then you always, of course, want to keep it below the 3-line mark. So if you're on like the timeline, you're only going to see this. This is the hook right here, right? So these first 2 lines, you can't even see beyond this. Like the more is right here. So you can see these first 2 lines and that's it. So make sure the hook stays within this. You can either do a really long one-liner, so like one sentence that goes from here all the way to here, or you can do what this guy did, which is just 2 short one-liners. And then honestly, man, like just writing these hooks over and over and over again, you're going to find what your audience likes. You're going to find what starts performing well, and you're going to get a better glimpse of how to actually write this content. The more you write, man, the more easier it gets. So I would use those 3 things I just told you. Score your timeline to find hooks that you think are really scroll stopping, and then utilize that into your strategy as well. And that should help you in terms of the right hooks. I also have a full framework in the school. If you guys join the school community on my feature section, go to the classroom. I've got this 90-day challenge. This goes through everything. This is a really good challenge. It goes through the tool stack I use, the profile framework, engagement system, creating your free products, building your content categories, how to write content, your analytics. This is a perfect start for your 90 days. So I would definitely, if you haven't already, joined the school, and you can start going through that. It'll help you out a lot if you're just starting on LinkedIn too. And then what framework do I use for outreach? My outreach is pretty simple right now. LinkedIn has actually really shown that your connections matter. So if you're sending connection requests to anyone besides your ICP and like your close friends, your peers, or like your, let's say, creator friends, you're going to negatively impact your content. Because let's say, for example, you have 20,000, let's say 20,000 connections, right? Let's say 1,000 of those are your ICP, 500 are your friends. So you now have 18,500 connections that are completely random. They're probably just random connections that you built up. They're probably not engaging with your content. So now you post content, right? Let's say you post a new post tomorrow morning. The way the LinkedIn algorithm works, it's going to send your post to your first degree connections first. It's going to see if they like it. If your post does well, it's going to start sending it out to other people. And if it keeps doing well, it's going to send it out to a larger audience. The problem with this is that if your connections aren't even interacting with your content, they're not in your niche, they're not your ICP, they're not like your peers or your friends or your creator friends, whatever it is, they're not going to engage the content. The content is going to die flat when you first post it. So LinkedIn is going to be like, okay, this post did not resonate. It's not good. It's not worth sending out to other people and other networks, right? So if you have a massive connection, like I guess all these massive connections, and you have like 20,000 connections, I think you can get up to like 30 or 40,000 on LinkedIn. But if you have too many connections that are completely out of your range, it's going to negatively impact you. So if you're building any sort of connection outbound framework, don't randomly send out 100 connections a day. Like you can do, or a week. You can send out connections, but don't randomly just send out to random people that you think you're just going to like grow your following. It's not going to help you in LinkedIn, right? It used to help a lot more, but with so many new eyeballs on the platform, it's really not going to help you. Okay, it's just going to negatively impact your content. So you don't want to just be engaging and connecting with random people. What I would do is connect with your ICP and connect with your peers. So people that would actually want to engage with your content. Those are the people to connect with. For your actual engagement strategy, definitely engage with people within your industry. So let's say I talk about personal branding and building a business on LinkedIn. I'm going to engage with people that talk about the same thing. I'm going to engage with people that talk about content, that talk about personal branding, that talk about business. I'm going to stay within my niche so LinkedIn knows that that's my niche. That's the people that I'm interacting with. So it's going to send more people like that to my feed. And then also make sure you're commenting, engaging, etc., with your actual comments on your LinkedIn post. And like I said before, ask questions to your replies on your post. You can kind of create more conversations. So it's not just like, great post, I like this, I agree, like the boring replies to that. It's a great question. Kaylee, does that make sense? Also, Adam, let me know if that makes sense too in terms of the hooks. I'm happy to help you too. If you want to, you can drop some of your hooks in the school in the next couple of days. We can kind of review it and see if they did well. And then Hassan, let me know if that's good for the tools that we're using. Let me know if you want to learn more about different tools. That's another great thing. I'm gonna go back to the screen for a little bit. I can actually make this a little smaller, I think. Okay. Okay, let me go back to Restream. Okay, yeah, great question though. I think there's a couple more questions we had here. Let's see what else we had. So let me go back to today's. Okay, no more questions on this one. I think we had some questions. I know Jimmy said start posting. He had some really great wins actually from the school today, so that's awesome. Congrats, Jimmy. Actually, let me go back to my screen. Yeah, Jimmy had really good results this week. We had Aaron had a huge win this week. He said that he's seen massive results from September 20th to October. So today he's seen a massive increase. Let me show that on here from the school community. That's awesome. Keep it up, man. That's fantastic to see. That's another crazy win from him. And then we've had, let me go back to the wins category. Yeah, so then Jimmy said he actually got the top 200. That's awesome. He's at top 200 on, awesome, man, in his industry. That's epic. He's actually top 29. Very nice. That is amazing. We got Clegg got to level 5. Beautiful. I know John actually dropped some awesome framework for his LinkedIn post. That's great as well. So yeah, keep it up, guys. We got lots of awesome wins in the score right now, so can't wait to keep seeing those. That is fantastic. All right, so I will go back to LinkedIn and see what questions we had this week. I know we had some other questions that were worth answering. If you guys want to ask anything, just drop it in the chat and I'll go over it for sure. Okay, I think we did have a question yesterday on, we had creating content, we went over that. The outreach, we went over that. I'll probably be live for another 5-ish minutes, so if anyone else in the chat wants to ask any questions, feel free. This is live Q&A style, so you're more than welcome to let me know any of your recent struggles, anything like that. I did notice one thing too, since the reach is so down on LinkedIn, it is actually kind of important to not just create content, but also send DMs to people. If you're creating content to essentially get leads, then you're also going to want to send DMs to get leads as well. You don't only want to do content, no replies, no engagement, no DMs. If you only do the content, your content's probably not going to get seen just because the new algorithm isn't working too well. People are definitely seeing a huge drop in impressions and reach, etc. So you definitely want to also be sending out DMs to people, whether it doesn't have to be like, do you want to join my school community? Do you want to get my free product? Do you want to get my paid product? You don't have to do a paid promo. You don't have to promo your stuff, but you can definitely reach out to people that you think would be a good part of your network and a good part of your connections. You can say hi, you can reach out to them. You can even get to know them with a call, maybe an in-person event, whatever it is, but definitely do that more. It's going to help you a lot more than just creating the content, especially with how poor LinkedIn engagement has been for a lot of people. It's not bad for everyone, but for some people, it's been pretty poor. So you definitely want to focus on that too. Another thing I did notice is carousels performing, they were doing pretty well these last few months, but I think they're slowing down. And again, it kind of goes back and forth. Carousels are like kind of hit or win, so you can definitely test those. I think carousels are always going to be an important part of LinkedIn content, but it really just depends on how good they are. The hook and the actual first title page of the carousel is going to impact whether the post is good or not. The other strategy that we'll say is working really well, if you guys are posting YouTube content, you have to do this. So let me show you what this looks like. This is what's been working really well for me. So if you're creating YouTube content, right, you've got your YouTube channel, what you want to do is go to your feed and press on write article. So let's say, for example, you're posting a YouTube video every Sunday. On Sundays, you're also going to want to create a LinkedIn newsletter article. So you press on write article. If you haven't done this yet, you go to manage and you press on create your newsletter. You're going to create a newsletter that you create emails essentially every single week. So you fill this out, your title, how often do you publish? This is going to be weekly, and then a description for your newsletter and an image. You're going to publish this. Now you have a LinkedIn newsletter. Now if you go to my LinkedIn newsletter, I'll show you what that looks like. Okay, you scroll down, you're going to see LinkedIn newsletter right here. Okay, so this is my LinkedIn newsletter. We got almost 11,000 subscribers here. Okay, so every single week I post a newsletter to essentially promote my YouTube video. It looks like this. I only promote my YouTube video here. I've got a Beehive newsletter, which is separate, and then I've got the LinkedIn newsletter, which is on here. The LinkedIn newsletter is only for promoting one place that you want to heavily promote. So for example, if you're creating YouTube content, this is the strategy. Post your YouTube video at 7 a.m. on Sunday, for example. At the same time, you're going to want to publish a article, right, on your newsletter, on LinkedIn. It's going to have a title. It's going to have a newsletter. It's going to directly promote, only promote the YouTube video, nothing else. It's going to have some links to the YouTube video. It's going to have go through the system. And that way, anyone that is already subscribed to your LinkedIn newsletter, they're going to get an email in their inbox saying like, hey, Alex published a new newsletter, and then it's going to go through it. It's going to have a great system. It's also going to have links to the YouTube video. People click on the YouTube video, they watch it, they have a great system. It grows your YouTube channel. LinkedIn also promotes the LinkedIn newsletter. So this newsletter, without any promo on my side, is going to get promoted by LinkedIn because that's just how the search function and the visibility works for them. So create a LinkedIn newsletter, post once a week, promote your YouTube content, and then on your YouTube channel, promote people back to somewhere on LinkedIn. So it could be your feature section, it could be your school community, it could be a free lead magnet. Go from the LinkedIn newsletter to your YouTube, and then from there, go to something paid or something for free. That's a newsletter or like a lead magnet to get their emails. And that's like the easiest way to capture emails, to get more sales, to grow your school community, whatever it is. By far the easiest way. It's been working really well. Okay, Adam, do you have a process how to build a community like you have? It's a low ticket, but hopefully high volume thing I'm looking to build. There will be a free initial access to grow the community. Yeah, so if you're building a school, honestly, what I would do is I would build up a little bit of hype on your LinkedIn first. And then that way, also on your newsletter. And then at some point you can say like, hey, we're opening our free school community that's brand new to 50 people. You can join now, all right? It's free, right? It's only free within the, like, let's say 24 hours. That should get a surge of people joining in. And you can also, maybe like a couple days later, you can say, okay, we increase the time you can join. We're actually adding another 50 people into the school community. You can join here for free. Boom, another 50 people. So I think before you make it pay, what I would do is I would build a decent audience first within your school community, and then you can go out and go ahead and make it paid, start getting people to join for paid. School is building a tier list. So you can now do free access. People can join my school for free. Mine is not going to be free for that long. It's free right now, but because I'm still perfecting, I want to make it better. Once it's better, I will then make it paid. So everyone that is in it now, they're good to go. But then anyone that wants to join in the future will have to pay to get access to it. But I wanted to make it free as it's not perfect yet. I don't want to charge people until it's actually perfect, right? But I would think you need to build some hype first in your post, maybe make a wait list in your newsletter. And then at some point you can drop it, launch it, make a couple posts on LinkedIn talking about like the new community, what it's for, make it free. Then at some point, as you build, let's say 50 people on it, 100 people on it plus, then you can start pushing it over to a paid community. But I think that's the best way to do it. All right, Unji, question from you. How do I blend the results I get on clients in my daily post? How do I blend the results I get on a client in my daily post? Okay, so you're asking how do you add client wins to your content? I'm assuming that's what you mean by that. If you want to blend your results in there, you can honestly, in the credibility part of your post, like I was saying today when we wrote this post, I had the hook and I talked about credibility in the second part. What I would do is I would add some credibility here. You can add some client results, maybe testimonial. Unless the post is specifically about, hey, like my client did this using my system here, get the system. That's what I do all the time. So I'll basically say, okay, let's say I had a new client and we implemented my LinkedIn framework, and within, let's say 2 weeks, they had some crazy results. I can make a post saying my client, let's say Rosie, my newest client, she implemented my XYZ framework and now grew an extra 2,000 followers in just 30 days using the framework, right? Here's the framework that she used. And then you could go through the framework so that you have the testimonial, you have the framework that she used, and you could also say, hey, you want this framework? You can get it here. Maybe it's like a book a call, like a free lead magnet, whatever it is. But you can basically implement the client wins, show what framework they use or what system they use from you, and then you can add that into the post, show the result, and then add that as like a lead magnet or like a paid product, whatever it is. That's one way to do it. The other way is to do what I'm saying here is you create the post, and then in the credibility side, so instead of saying I've spent the last 2.5 years, you could say something like, in the last 30 days, 3 of our clients have seen XYZ results by using the XYZ framework. You can do something like that just to add some credibility. That way people can go through your post and be like, oh yeah, I trust this person because they've done this. I would be very specific when you're talking about this. Don't make stuff up. If you don't have any client wins, honestly, what I would do is I would offer some of your paid stuff for free to some people so they could go through it, they can get results, and then they can like share those wins with you, and then you can share it here. You don't want to make up fake stuff. You don't want to do any of that because it'll actually hurt your brand value over time. So in the credibility section, this is where you're going to want to add all the client information, the results, you name it. Hope that helps, but that's like kind of a really good way to put it. All right, guys, I got time for about 2 more minutes on here. Thanks for everyone who's tuned in so far. If you have any other questions, feel free to drop them in the chat. I've got like a solid 2 minutes to kind of go over any other questions you guys have. I'm going to head off. I'm going to go to the airport in a few minutes. So it's been a blast, though. Unji, hope that answered your question. And then Adam, hope that helps as well. Kaylin, it's good to see you in here. Hassan, it was good to see you as well. Who else was on here? Justin, Kwamlo, good to see you guys. Naveed, great to see you as well. Muhammad, it's good to see you as well. Kunal, thanks for coming in. I think that's one of the first time I've seen you in here. That's great to see you. Megan, thanks for joining in. Yeah, guys, I'm about to head off. If there's no more questions, you can watch this full recording on YouTube, on School, and on LinkedIn. It's all going to be there. Yeah, I hope I answered enough questions here today. This was, I think, a really good live. I feel like I was able to answer quite a bit. We went over quite a bit of great questions and conversations and topics overall. If you guys want to get anything else that you get from this live, I would say LinkedIn is still like one of the best social media platforms to build on. Don't get discouraged if your content doesn't do well. Just try to keep building, figure out what's going to make it do well. Test out a lot of different hooks, test out different formats, test out different times of posting, test out different post formats, whether it's videos, carousels, personal posts, whatever it is. Keep testing. I think A/B testing, this kind of thing, is going to be the most profitable thing you could do. And lastly, don't forget, build a YouTube channel, build an email list, build external content as well. Don't just stick to LinkedIn. If you only do LinkedIn, you're setting yourself up for failure because you're only posting on this one little area where you can't nurture as much as you could if you have a school community, if you have a YouTube channel, if you have a newsletter. You have so many other ways to nurture your audience. So use your LinkedIn content as a way to funnel people in, right? Nurture people with your LinkedIn content, but also nurture with all these other platforms. And it's going to work really, really well. Yeah, of course. I'm really happy to help. And Kamal, I'm actually I'm not traveling, actually. I am taking some people to the airport, some of my family members. I get the whole thing better. You ask them to book a call for the framework. I'll like it. Yeah. So talk about the win from your clients. Talk about the system that your clients use. And then at the end, say, like, if you want this system, you can get it here. Right? That's a great way to do it. Kaylin, of course, happy to help. Who are the key people I should connect with to grow my brand? Your ICP and your peers. Those 2 people. I went live on YouTube this week. Ooh, wait, Kumo, how did it go? Was it good? Dude, I'm telling you, man, like, going live on YouTube too is really helpful. Like, I went out live on YouTube for the last, 2 months. And honestly, you get a lot of people coming in from YouTube to then going through your, let's say, school community, your LinkedIn. If you guys are not going live yet, I would recommend just testing it out. I am going to have some other live speakers on these lives at some point. I want to add more value there. But if you're not going live yet, I would recommend it. It's actually pretty profitable. And you can grow a lot faster too, which is kind of cool. But yeah, Martha, I'm happy to help on that. Is it good to send connection requests to those people the LinkedIn recommends us to? Oh, nah. I mean, LinkedIn's not perfect yet. Like, you're talking about the people on the right side. Let's see. People you may know. I mean, nah, I wouldn't connect with these people, honestly. I mean, it just says you might know, but like, I mean, sometimes there's really good people on here, but other times I don't think it's really worth it. Yeah, I wouldn't say it's worth connecting with all these people. You were nervous to do live? Yeah, the thing that helps me though is I was a Twitch streamer for like 7 years, so I was on camera every single day playing video games, so it's not hard to get on camera anymore for me. I could be on camera for hours. I could talk forever, so the more you actually do it, the way easier it gets. Oh, man, this coffee is so good. Any of you guys coffee drinkers? I've been drinking way too much coffee sometimes, I think. It's just so good in the morning to drink some coffee. Okay. Were there any other questions here? All right, that's everything. All right, guys, I'm gonna head out. Thanks everyone for tuning in. I'll be live again, of course, in the school this week, and then after this weekend. So you guys have a great weekend, and then next week on Friday, of course, I'll be live again. A new YouTube video is coming out on Sunday, so make sure if you guys are not already subscribed, subscribe to YouTube, and then perfect. But I'll see you guys in a couple days if in the school lives. Also, the last question I'll answer is how long you think the algorithm takes to learn about you and push your content. Totally depends. If you have some viral ideas, man, just go to LinkedIn, right? Find what's working for people, take some of the viral ideas, make it into your content, and you might be able to get found like a lot quicker than if you're just like creating your own content, right? So it's totally different. For some of my clients, it's a month. Some of my clients, it's 3-4 months. For my sake, it was like when I first started LinkedIn, it was like 7 months. Okay, so it's totally depends on your content, your systems. If you're building in public, if you're not, whatever, it's going to take time. All I know is it takes time. All right, it takes a lot of time for some people more than others. So yeah. All right, I'll see you guys soon. Thanks for tuning in, and thanks